In this video, I'm going to show you how to install some mud flaps or splash guards on a 2014 Mazda 6. My car is white colored, and what ends up happening is a lot of times between infrequent cleanings, I'll get a lot of tar that gets thrown up on an angle, and you end up getting a lot of chips from road. All of these small things happen because a lot of the rocks get flimmed up. The other thing I've noticed is on my Q50, it's a lot lower to the ground. I end up getting a lot of white marks due to the rocks that hit in this area. Because it's a silver color car, I can see that those marks a lot more clearer than you can on a white car. So I'm going to go ahead and install mud guards up in the front and then in the back as well to protect the bottom portion of my bumper here. So I went ahead and chosen these inexpensive splash guards by Road Sport. We've got fitment number 1 that's going to fit the front, and fitment number 2 that's going to fit in the back. These things come with screws. This is the thing. Basically, I'm going to pre-hang them in an area where I think they're suitable height, and then what you want to do is just measure the distance to the ground from the bottom and make sure that you install the other side similarly. This one's got a flap. You're going to see some areas where this thing is not setting correctly. We're going to work out most of the bugs. As you can see, we're going to make sure we get good fitment here. There's going to be an opening here no matter what I do, and then up on top I can go ahead and have it flushed, installed with the top edge so that I don't leave a gap. So the key is to get it located where we want to, and then measure the distance between the ground and the bottom of the flap. Make sure that the outside edge is vertical. You do not want to install it on an angle, nor do you want it to install on an outward angle. You want to make sure that the edge of the flap is vertical. So I'm going to use a small handy level to do that. The other thing is on the inside, I don't know if you can see or not, but on the inside of the area I've got items, I've got holes or pins that are holding the wheel well cover in place that I'm going to go ahead and use. So once I get the mud flap located in place using one of these screws somewhere here in between, I'm going to pull these out and drill holes so that they go through the mud flap, and then I'm going to use additional screws. However, on the rear end of this car, as you can see, there are no clips or screws that hold the mud flap in place, other than something up here. But I'm going to go ahead and use screws and install the mud flap in that way. When we do get to the rear tire, we may end up having to take the rear tire off just because I don't have enough room in between here. So when I get to that stage, I will definitely show you guys what I am doing. Okay, so I've got the first one installed. I used the original clamp that came with the car at this location. Let me brighten up the video here. And I could not use it on a lower one just because I should have taken this bolt out. I screwed this in to hold it in place, drilled a hole here. The next thing what I should have done was taken this, put this inside, remove the screw, found where the opening was, and then drill a pilot hole through here. Once I did that, then I could have installed the lower clip as well. The metal frame is only here. There is no metal frame underneath here. So this is basically screwed in to the plastic piece behind. So the first thing And installing screws, you want to use a metal drill bit that will drill into the edge of the frame here. So you want to drill a pilot hole and then put this screw in. For this one here, I used the same small drill bit to drill a pilot hole, then used a larger one to get the bigger hole. Once that was in, it was pretty straightforward to pop the collar in and then drop the pin inside. So this is pretty much secured. There's nothing else to be done. I did use a level to hold on here, and you can see it's pretty much close to level. I did turn the wheel, and the wheel just barely sits in on the inner lip. So this is what it looks like installed on the vehicle. So I'm gonna go and do the other side now. Okay, so just wanted to kind of quickly show you, I've got the two clips removed here. This is what the inside looks like. You can see it's a very small narrow strip that you're gonna have to catch with the drill machine, and then these are the two holes in which the two clips go into. So I just wanted to show you what the inside looks like behind the wheel well cover. Okay, so I have this side installed now. I did use the clips, both top and bottom, screw, and then screw into plastic only. So we've got this installed. Now I'm going to go ahead and start on the rears. To do the rear mud flaps, I had to take the rear tires off. There's a couple of safety notes here. One, you want to make sure that the front tires are chalked. The other thing is you want to make sure that you know where to place the jack. Safely jack the car up, remove the tire. And before you do any of that stuff, what I did was I pre-marked the top of my mud flap at 18 inches off the ground. Then what you do is you need to lower the car back down so that point measures 18 inches, so that this way you can go ahead and level out the mud flap. Otherwise you won't be able to have a reference for the level because the car will be jacked up. So you got to remove the tire, then lower the car so that you get the desired height, so that you can go ahead and be able to then level off the mud flap. So I'm going to go ahead and get that started installing. Another good thing to do while you do have the rear tire off is to check the rear brakes. And it looks like I have pretty much a good amount of pad left. So my brakes are still good. That's one less thing to worry about down the road. So here's what it looks like installed. I pretty much use the 3 screws. This is pretty much held in place. This is what it looks like from the back. And that should look good. I'm going to go ahead and put that tire on so I could go to the other side. When tightening the tire lugs, you want to make sure you torque them to anywhere from 80 to 108 pound-feet. To do that, you're going to need one of these torque wrenches, because you do not want to over tighten or under tighten these the tire lugs. So the best thing is to make sure that you do torque them, and that's about it. Okay, so here it is. I've got them installed. Let's see if I can get some more light in here. As you can see, that's the front. What the front looks like. They blend in. The rears stick out a little bit, only because they're a little black. And then here is this side, and then the front. So that's about it. So the thing to keep in mind is when you do jack up the car, a safety note, never get underneath the car unless you have a stand in place. So that's a safety tip. Well, I hope you like the video. It's helpful for you to see how to install this. If you have any questions, ask them below and I'll do my best to answer them in a timely fashion. Thank you for watching.